My story is about my dad's memories of living in Toronto in the early part of World War II, where he was training to be a navigator with the RCAF. He never talked about his experiences during the actual war overseas, but he did talk a lot about the fun he had while he was in Toronto for that year and a half in 1942-43. He arrived here from Timmins, Ontario. He was 21 years old, and he had an aunt here, Siddi Wren, who lived at 48 Roncesvalles, and she took him under her wing. She was very familiar with the dance halls at Sunnyside and with the drinking establishments and the roller skating rinks. And so she showed my dad around, and he used to talk all the time about how he would go jitterbugging to the various dancing places at Sunnyside, and especially he talked about one place under the big tent, so I think that may have been the Sea Breeze. He was stationed at Manning Depot, which was located on the exhibition grounds, and he remembered playing baseball there. He used to talk a lot about how during that first fall and winter that he was in Toronto, that he got to see almost every Maple Leaf hockey game, because he said all you had to do was stand around in your uniform in front of the Maple Leaf Gardens and people would offer him free tickets. In addition to training on the exhibition grounds, which is where he lived, he also trained at what is now Toronto Metropolitan University. He had this funny story that he always told when he was at what's now TMU, which is that the military police said they were absolutely not allowed to go to Jarvis Street. And he talked about how a person in his class had to get special permission to go and visit his parents who lived in that neighborhood. He also trained at Malton when he was actually in Air Observer School, and he talked about how he used to take a streetcar across Bloor Street to Jane and then take a bus that would go on a country road up to Malton. One of his favorite stories that he told me at least 100 times is that when he graduated from the Air Observer School at Malton, which was in December of 1943, that he picked up his officer's uniform and wore it to a dance at Casa Loma. But the problem was he had told his girlfriend, who lived in Timmins, that he couldn't come home that weekend because he was still waiting for his uniform. But while he was dancing that night at Casa Loma with a young woman that he brought there, a newspaper man took his picture. And so a couple of days later, when he arrived in Timmins, the girlfriend was waving the newspaper